Welcome to Making Sales Simple, podcast by Helen Tebay, the sales lady. So I'm going to go through the 4 areas of selling that you're probably missing out on. And these are the areas that take my clients to 10k plus months. I'm going to break down the client roadmap that I use with every single client that allows them to make more money in far less time and much easier than them going alone. And it's actually how I made my first 100k. So I'm going to take you through the 4 critical areas of selling that most people overlook, usually because they're so freaking simple. We think it can't be these things that make the difference. We look for more complex stuff and strategy and complexity, and I promise you it's all in this simple shit. These are the difference makers between struggling to land clients and closing high value, multiple 4-5 figure sales. You know, we've got people making 5, 10, 15, 20 plus K months and doing it a heck of a lot easier just by working on these 4 things. So the first thing is your offer is not as strong as you think. Now, if your offer is super confusing and you're confused in what you're selling and who you're selling to, and you're not excited by it and you don't love the price, this is going to trickle into your audience and potential clients. They're not going to be convicted either. So the offer is more important than anything else, and this is what I focus in on first with all my clients. And at the end of working through the offer building formula that we've got, they are super convicted in their high value offer. They know exactly who it's for, how they provide the transformation, what that transformation is, and what happens next. The key is one offer, one client, one problem. There is a power in keeping it simple, and too many people try to appeal to everyone with an offer for everything. They've got retreats, they've got little accelerators, they've got mini challenges, and instead of learning to sell one 4-figure offer, it ends up with a weak message and a diluted offer that speaks to no one, and you end up selling nothing. So here is what a 4 high-figure offer needs to contain. The first thing is a clear promise that aligns with your ideal client. It's got to be an outcome that they want to pay money to fix. Now, a couple of subpoints with this: we have to have a specific audience. We can't just say SMEs or business owners or coaches. But there's an avoidance to niche because you worry you're going to run out of people to sell to, which is absolutely impossible if you think of everybody in the world that might have the problem that you solve. The other thing that you might struggle with a promise or a transformation is, what if you can't deliver it? Or what if the clients don't do the work? Or maybe you don't know because you've never really thought of it from that point of view. So have a little think about what is the transformation or the result that you can promise right now. And it's so important it costs us sales, because when you think about it, that's what clients want to buy against. That's the only thing they really care about. Can you fix my problem? So that's what it's all about, really. Essentially, that's what clients are always ever looking for. Is she speaking to me and people like me, and is she delivering an outcome that I want? And we miss that so much. It's super important, because if people can't see you as the expert that solves the problem and is very convicted in that, that's going to cost you sales. The next thing your offer has to have is strong deliverables. You've got to know exactly what you're getting, why that matters, how you get people from A to B. That's another thing where people say, well, how does it work? Well, we have coaching sessions. Yeah, how does coaching work to fix a sales problem? I remember getting asked that, and I remember stumbling because I didn't know, because I'd not thought of it from a client point of view, and saying, because it just doesn't work, trust me. So your client actually gives less of a shit about that kind of stuff, but it's important to know. They really want to know, can you fix my problem? And you need to know, yes, and this is how we do it. The next thing we need to do is pick a price that feels easy to sell at right now and deliver. So it's like a massive over deliver. You're seeing this as a real exchange of value from your customer. And the final thing is, it has to be a reason to buy now. Now, maybe you only work with a couple of people a month. Maybe there's only so many spots left. Maybe if you do it now, you put something extra in. But that is what is needed. And the common mistake in this area is thinking you need more calls or networking or to do more to fix weak sales. You actually need a stronger offer first before any of that shit. That's why it comes first in the roadmap. And when your offer is so compelling that prospects see themselves and the transformation that they want, everything else becomes instantly easier and clearer. They will want to hang out in your world. They will want to pay you. The next section, section 2, is getting leads without wasting time. Now, let's talk about leads. Most people treat lead generation like a bit of a lottery, like random, inconsistent and full of guesswork. And the truth is you only ever really need 2 to 3 lead generation strategies that match your strengths, and then you need to stick to them for at least 6 months. And I see you giving up way too easily with this. You're telling yourself it's not working because you've shown up for a week and you've posted a couple of times and you think, where are the sales at? We have a very twisted expectation on this, partially from social media, like get leads now. So you have to be prepared to put the effort in before you see the results, and you have to have the sticking power to back yourself on your chosen strategies, which can be really hard to do, but not think they are a waste of time. None of this is a waste of time. You'll figure out so much by doing what works best for your audience. How do I get more people to a webinar? What DM message lands best with my audience? Should I do a voice note? Should I do a video? You're going to have to be prepared to try it and see, because that is the only way you're going to know. And the biggest thing missed here, and possibly the saddest, is that instead of approaching this from getting leads to sell, it's also to build trust with your audience and to build connection. That's where sales is heading. That's where it all is. It's all going to be about brand. So choose now. What do you want to be known for? What results do you want to be known as delivering? Who do you want to show up and help? Who do you want to be like talking about you in the room when you're not there? What do you want to be known for? What do you want people to be saying? So you're going to have to start putting that out for that to happen. I want to be known for providing value and making things easier with selling and helping people. So that's what I do. I do it when I feel like it. I do it when I don't feel like it. I do it when I'm fully booked. I do it when I'm quiet. So if you're falling foul of getting people in to your network and selling to them, you're probably doing this a bit wrong. And it's really easy to slip into this, especially when you need sales. So this is a mini process of how I look at lead generation. Get new people in, provide a ton of value to them, have more conversations, and make more offers. That's it. That's as simple as this stuff gets. The third section is selling without feeling weird, sleazy, pushy, salesy. So let's talk about selling itself. This is the third milestone in the roadmap. Because again, think about it. There's no point in going straight in to talk about how to sell if we don't really know what we're selling. That's why points 1 and 2 are so important. But if sales feels weird, it's because you're doing it wrong. We have to change the purpose of the sales interaction. Think about why your client comes to a call. Explore, ask questions, make a decision, see if it's right for them, see if you're right for them. A great sales process is permission-based. It's about guiding, it's not forcing. It's about exploration. It's not about like ramming stuff down people's throats or asking clever questions or having the gift of the gab. And that's exactly what I teach my clients about selling. Pre-call prep, having a qualification system in place using something like Calendly, whatever fits your process. Having a structure to a call, like a framework, so you know how to run a call and it's not all in your head. You're not worrying about what to say. You can set the agenda, you can write down some questions, know how to present your offer because you've already done point 1, and you can help them decide. And then you can have everything ready to process them into your business. But a common mistake here is that we think that when we hear a no or when we hear an objection, it is a firm no. We're hearing a problem that we can't get past. And that's your cue to go into investigation mode and see what's really going on for your client. So you can give them transformation in that sales call, whether they say yes or no. And then the final part of the roadmap is your mindset. And what I mean by that is your thoughts and feelings on all of this, on your offer, your audience, your pricing, how you go about generating leads, how you think about sales, what you think when someone says they haven't got any money. You can see how this shows up everywhere, and I mean fucking everywhere. It's your hidden sales killer. So if you're not hitting your sales goals, it's not just tactics, it's not just strategy, it's not just having a plan. We have to look at how you think about selling. And I won't work with anyone who does not want to do this step because it is so critical. It only means I can take them so far if they don't. This stuff here, this like shifting your mindset, literally unlocks everything. It means seeing sales as helping, not convincing them. It means seeing your offer as a fair exchange of value. So you know when you're asking clients to pay, you're not taking more than what you're giving. You're seeing it as a fair exchange of value. knowing that sales flow into you, so you have absolute complete conviction and confidence in the transformation and the results that you deliver. It's so important. That's why those steps are stacked in the way that we do it. That's why they're all in sequential order. It's not just me thinking, oh, we'll just do it that way round because that's just where the chips fell. It's because it's in a real order for a reason. So we have to look at getting a new belief system that supports your new goals and your new actions, or it doesn't work. And I've got first-hand examples for myself where it doesn't work, where I have absolutely sat there and thought that my business is going under. And I have made no money for a couple of months because I've sat in that thought and it has dictated everything. I've withdrawn, I've stopped networking, I have pulled back, I've stopped getting visible, and I felt awful for all of that because none of that was going to help my audience and none of that was helping me. And so I was doing all the things, I was posting still, I was kind of, doing stuff, but I had this horrible thought going on that I was going under. And I see this happening with clients. They're doing the stuff, but they've got a really terrible belief system that sits underneath it. And if you think about it, if you've got the best offering in the world, but you think no one's out there, no one's got any money and no one's going to buy it, do you think you're going to sell any of it? So it's this kind of stuff is so important. And that's why my fourth and final point of the roadmap actually runs through everything. And that's how I help my clients to achieve results. It's undeniable that you will get a result when you look at the how and all the strategy stuff, as well as who you need to become and all the thoughts and beliefs that go into making that new goal happen. So there you have it, the 4 areas of selling that people miss. A strong offer, consistent lead generation that plays to their strengths. They choose how they do that. It builds trust not to get sales, an effective sales process, and the right mindset. Now fix these and watch your sales activity and money results improve. If you work on all 4 and you make a commitment for the next 3 months, I promise you 100% you will see more money in your bank. This is my process. It's never failed me in all sales roles that I've had, including running my own business. I made my first 100k in my first 12 months doing this, and I promise you it won't fail you either. So if you found this helpful, share it with someone who needs to hear it. If you want more strategies, connect with me on LinkedIn. I hang out there every single day posting highly actionable tips. And if you think, fuck that, I'm ready to speak to you, I'm all in, I want to know how we work together, then you book a call with me and we will go through how we can make that happen. Thank you for listening to Making Sales Simple, a podcast by Helen Tebay, the Sales Lady. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow me on Spotify for more.